Oh, hello everyone. It's Susie from Esoteric Trading Solutions. I hope you're all very well. Looking after yourselves, being kind to yourselves, being kind to your family, being kind to your friends, being kind to your animals particularly, and just trying to make this place a better world rather than all the horror that we hear here in the world. I haven't done a video for a while because I'm extremely busy with my clients who subscribe to my Slack system. We do trading in currencies, we do trading in US equity indices and everything else. So I thought I'd just send this out just to show what I do. We trade this stuff every day. We don't tend to trade cryptocurrency because we hold those for investment portfolios. So I keep my trading portfolio very separate to my cryptocurrency portfolio. So this is the sort of thing I go through for my clients, and we basically put a trade on every night and well, I do particularly, and make some money. So matter of fact, my trading does better than my membership. So so this just gives you a flavor for what I do. I hope you're all well, and this is a disclaimer, of course. This is just for teaching only. I don't know your financial position. I'm not a financial advisor. I trade for myself, and these are the sort of things I look at for trading, which I do on a daily basis. So mainly foreign currency in the US30 Index. Anyway, I hope that helps. Thank you. Hey everyone, I hope you're okay. I hope you're all well. Just want to look at some technicals for tonight. We trade the US indices and foreign exchange discretionary. That's what I trade. I don't trade with systems or bots or anything like that. Now, just looking at the Dow, which is what I trade, the US30 CFD. Basically, on the monthly, we've got a double top, and it's a very clear double top. Here and here, and pretty much when you see this formation, you do get the M completing itself. So basically that's very, very clear double top on the monthly. This could potentially trade down to about 23,170. So currently the market's at 25,294. We have got a buy here, but this is also a sell. So this looks quite toppy to me. When you get this, it's a double top. It's very clear. And basically the market's been technically driven as well as with interest rates going higher and everything else. So we're going to see quite a volatile week this week because the Brexit deal could be done or it may not be done either. And obviously interest rates are rising. There's concern over Chinese trade. There's concern over Italy. Their budget's coming out today. And obviously there's concern over Italy not being able to pay back their debt. They're the third largest bond market in the world. So there is a lot going on, and it could be still a risk-off trade, which means risk-off, basically they sell the US equity market and they go into funding currencies like Japanese, like Swissy, like, say the Norwegian kroner and those sort of currencies, which are all risk-off currencies. So basically, let's have a look at the weekly on this. On the weekly, we definitely got that double top. You can see it very, very easily. And as I said, this M normally completes itself. You do see that at highs of markets, and you see the W's on low of markets. So we've got a parabolic sell here. It's on support here around, what's that, 25,287. And this thing could trade potentially down all the way down to around 23,000, which is what I'm betting. So I am selling this market. I'm looking for the sell in any rally story. If we look at the dailies on this, parabolic sell, again, this resistance level here is around, 25,345. So I've got stop losses around 25,360. And this could, as I said before, could potentially get down to quite easily below 25,000. That's on the daily. I do take a look at the daily as well as the weekly and the monthly. I trade stocks and the indices very different to the way I trade cryptos and currency. So I look at different time frames for the US indices and currencies. So I trade quite differently. If we look at the 4 hours for the US Dow, basically it has got a parabolic buy here. We could get a rally, potentially, rate maybe 300, 350, 400, but I am definitely looking for the sell. So I want to keep some ammunition to sell. This market, as I said, the longer term doesn't look very good. So you really have to sell this market, but just be careful. Obviously the levels you can, where you can sell. We go to the hourly, parabolic sell, big overhead resistance here on the Ichimoku cloud. Basically, it's massive resistance between 25,696 to 25,267. So this basically, I'm looking for the sell anywhere between over 300. If it gets up to 400, definitely, but I'm certainly looking for the sell. If I bring it back to a shorter time frame, still got the sell here. Could rally up again to 25,340, something like that, or even a little bit higher, but I want to leave some bullets in my gun, so to speak, so that I can take advantage of this market if it does potentially rally up. But again, I'd be looking at, say, 350, 350, something like that. So I am definitely a seller of this market, and I think it's going to go lower this week, particularly with what's going on globally in terms of economic fundamentals. Number one, interest rates are rising. Number two, credit spreads are moving out. Number three, you've got the trade wars with China. Number four, they're worried about the Italian debt scenario. If they default on their debt, all hell's going to break loose. They are the third largest bond market in the world. Plus, the Fed's still in rate hike mode. You've got, Trump saying they've lost the plot or whatever. But the reality is, cash is still easy, interest rates are still very low, and they can come down quite a bit. So if you look at this could potentially come down to 248. So again, I am a seller on this market, absolutely. Now let's just have a look, and I only trade the Dow, the US30. I don't trade anything else. I keep it all very simple, because to me that's how you make money. You keep it very, very simple. So let's have a look at some of the currencies. The first one I look at is US yen, because that obviously drives many, many markets. And I do trade US yen. Now, US yen is basically a risk-off trade at the moment. If the equity market goes down, the US yen goes down, because effectively they're going into yen, which is a risk-off trade. They're selling US equities, and if they sell US equities, they're selling US dollars. It's just that simple. So if we look at the monthly on this, we've got a parabolic sell here, really, really clear. Everything's moving down accordingly. There's a bit of support here on Ichimoku cloud, but if it breaks that support around, what do we got, around 111.16, it looks like the market's at 112 at the moment. Let's just bear with me there. So about 112, 112.10. If it breaks that support, you're gonna see it a lot lower than this, probably potentially down to, gosh, the bigger picture is 105, something like that. So we could see this US yen come off quite a bit. And basically, as I said, it's an equity trade. If the equity market comes off, they will sell US and they'll buy yen, which is pretty much a risk-off trade. So again, even looking at the weekly, it doesn't look very good to me. It could go down to here somewhere. It could fall quite dramatically. Let's check out the daily. The daily's in a parabolic sell as well. Could get down to maybe 111.488. So I'm going to be a seller of US yen according to this. Still in a big downward channel. We've still got a sell on this, still moving down. So probably I'll put that in the Forex discretionary, but I'm definitely looking for the sell on this in the 4 hours. 4 hours and the daily and everything else line up. So if you look at the 1 hour, yep, it's still telling me a sell. Let's go back to the shorter time frames. I do like to look at all different time frames, and I've got a sell on my 5 minutes as well. So yep, I'm definitely a seller of US yen just looking at this. It's a question of where I sell. I'll put that in FX discretionary. So I'm a seller on that. Let's check out Aussie US. Obviously I trade Aussie because I'm an Aussie, but you can't trade Aussie US without looking at US yen first. Okay, Aussie's been this big downward channel, and it's been quite negative, and it's not really coming back. It looks fairly weak to me. Still a sell in my mind, Aussie US. Don't forget, if you sell Aussie, you're buying US. So we need to either have one trade on or another. Otherwise, it's just stupid. If you're selling US yen, you're better off just to leave the Aussie alone, because if you sell Aussie, you're basically buying US. So then you've got to cross Aussie yen. So you either do one or the other. And I don't trade the crosses. They're too hard, okay? And one thing I don't trade is pound US. Particularly with the Brexit being on or off, it's going to be very hard to work out which way the pound's going. Pound at the best of times against US is a hard currency pair to trade, so stay away from it. You only trade the easier currency trades. So as I said, Aussie does look weak, but if I'm going to sell US yen, I'm not buying Aussie, because it's just, I'm not selling Aussie because it's just a contradiction. You're selling Aussie and you're buying US, which is basically saying if you're selling US yen, you're effectively counting out your US, and you're coming up with a sold Aussie position against yen. and I generally don't do that. So if you look at the Aussie yen, for example, you're better off just doing Aussie yen. The bigger picture is down on the Aussie crosses, but again, I like liquidity. I don't like being in the crosses. I don't like being in any instrument where it's not the most liquid, okay? I know Scotty has a different way of trading to me, but that's how I do it, because it's just stupid not going, in my mind, it's stupid not dealing with the most liquid contracts in the market. The market's hard enough as it is, let alone getting done for spreads and everything else if you're not in the most liquid contracts in the market. So another one that I do trade, obviously, is US yen, Aussie yen, and what else do I trade? They're the two majors that I trade. Sometimes I look at Euro US as well, and we'll have a quick squeeze at that. It just depends on sort of how I feel sometimes. But Euro US, we do have a parabolic sell on the monthly here, so it looks like it's in a downward channel overall. But let's go back to the weekly. The weekly's got a buy, and if I've got, don't forget, if I've got anything different on my weeklies to my monthlies, like this is a buy on the daily as well, then I don't take the trade actually. On the 4 hours we do have a sell, but if I go back to a shorter time frame, it's got a buy. So again, I don't take that trade, not at all, okay? There's no point. So if I look at the US yen, it's given me a clear direction on all time frames to sell, and there's no point me looking at something else when it doesn't give me a clear direction. So basically, you know, again, Aussie looks weak. Certainly New Zealand to US dollars looks weak. Sometimes I do trade New Zealand, but it's got to be a fairly, you know, fairly momentous trade. In other words, you know, there's got to be a bit in it for me to do it. That's in a big downward channel, you know, could potentially get down to 63.82 cents, something like that. If we look at the weekly on that, again, we've still got a downward channel on that. Very much, it's very similar to the Aussie. Got a buy on that, so we've got, you know, different divergence on our indicators. We've got a buy. Going back to the 5 minutes, we've got a sell. So again, I wouldn't trade that. So basically the one that I'd be looking at, I like to keep things simple, is I'd be looking to sell US yen with a risk off trade. Now, as I said, if I believe the US equity market's going to go down, which I do, I'd be selling the US to the yen, basically. Let's just quickly have a look at bonds, because that's what's driving markets lower at the moment. And I'll just pull up a few bonds. Oh, we've got the futures here. Let's quickly have a look at the futures. Let's have a look at the S&P mini future. So we've got that. Oh, looks like we don't have it. That's annoying, because sometimes you have to pay for it, which is bloody annoying. But anyway, look, the reality is bond yields are going up, the credit spreads are blowing out. It's all negative for the US equity market. And, you know, basically it's a risk-off trade, which means they go to yen and they get out of any risk trade, being credit spreads, being equities, and they go back to basically being cash, and that's what they call a risk-off trade. So for my liking, for my trading at the moment, I'm going to be looking for levels to get short US30 Index, and I'm going to be looking for levels to get short the US yen. Pretty much that at this stage, and we'll take it from there. Thanks, guys. I hope you're all well, and this is just a very quick update. Thank you. So just to give you a flavour of what I do every night with my Stake account as well, with my clients. So not only do we look at, you know, obviously coins, and we do reviews, and we update the system religiously for new information, and we look at technicals, we also look at other markets as well. So, and that also has an influence on the cryptocurrency market as well. So there is just so much to know and so much to learn. And pretty much, you know, my memberships are a great value, because, you know, I'm basically truly a professional. I've been around for a long time. But so I apologize that I haven't done anything recently. I just get too busy. So much apologies, and I hope you're all well. Please look after yourself, be kind to yourself. Look after your friends, your family, your animals, just people in the world. Make it a happier place than what it is, and you know, get people involved. Not try and, you know, be racist and horrible like some people, some politicians in the world. Anyway, guys, look after yourself, and I'll talk to you very soon. Bye for now, Susie.